everybody, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another Room Has It video, but we're talking about players linked to Newcastle United in this coming window. There's been a few stories going around about midfielders, especially with recent injury to John Joe Shelby. So we're going to get stuck into a little bit of banter that we've heard flying around the media, just talk about the players that have been linked, but not ITK. I can't stress that more than enough, but literally just talk about names that have been linked to the media and give you our take on it, backed up with some unbelievable stats from our stat man, Mark. So let's get stuck into this in a second. Just before we do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click the like and subscribe button. We'd love you to come join us. We're on about 2,200 subscribers now, I think. So thank you so much, everyone who smashed that button. Loads more room for you on the channel, all free content. There's live shows and pop-up videos just like this, where we talk about transfer rumours and targets in the market. So let's get stuck in then. So as I mentioned, we're talking about midfield. So this has really come around. I think midfield has certainly been a position we have been looking at. I think the club is very much in a transitional phase. I think we're evolving as a team. I did a piece for our new look website, which is down there. If you check it out on Twitter, you'll be able to see the links to it about John Joe Shelby and about how I don't think he really fits into the current Newcastle United model. In the midfield that we have, we're all about the high press, high energy on the front foot. That's why players like Bruno at the Fulcrum in the side, players like Longstaff and Willock are obviously in the side ahead of Shelby because of the energy and their endeavour over the kind of the quality on the ball. John Joe Shelby slows down the game, and I think that's a real issue for him at the minute. I think also the fact that he's had so many injuries tells you that his body really isn't up to the way that Eddie Howe wants to play. So it's been a bit unlucky for John Joe, to be fair to him. I mean, he got injured pre-season. He's only just come back, and recently he's had a calf injury, which is going to keep him out to about 8 weeks, I think, which is really what's thrown these stories up in the media. So Craig Hope in the Daily Mail, who's a great journalist, Craig, he has wrote that that John Joe Shelby is stuck in a bit of limbo here. So he only needs 2 more games to trigger a 1-year extension in his contract, and he only has 6 months to run on his contract, and he's going to be out for 8 weeks now. And now the story goes is that the behind the scenes team of Steve Nixon and Dan Ashworth, I think they've been drawing up targets, and a lot of midfielders have been in those targets. So we're going to cover some of these midfielders now. There's some aged ones, there's some what you would call peak age ones, and some young ones as well, which we'll cover in a couple of Rumour Has It episodes. But we're going to get stuck into these 2 players first, because we think they're the most established names that we have. So if you bear with us, we'll get stuck into that now. So the first one is a player that we'll know all about. He is a Premier League regular, and he also caused England a bit of pain in the Euros just gone. It is this player right here, Jorginho, who plays for Chelsea now. Jorginho is a fantastic footballer. There's no doubt about that. 31 years old, deep lying midfielder, plays defensive midfield kind of more than anything else. Obviously has been playing for Chelsea for quite some time now. You can see in terms of his statistics and where he shines, he's a very talented footballer. So he's been at Chelsea since 2018, 207 appearances, 29 goals and 7 assists. Where is his strength? His strengths are really tackling, passing through balls. He's got a wonderful range of passing, very akin to John Joe Shelby with these long range think passes, kind of 40, 50-yard passes to people's toes, defense split and probing passes. So he is a really, really talented footballer. As you can see from his stats there, his passing is up in the 93 percentile. His pass completions in the 87 percentile, and his progressive passing, more importantly, is up in the 90th percentile as well. Tackling, he's a very good tackler as well. So he puts in just under 3 tackles a game in the 86th percentile, and his interceptions as well is kind of in the 86th percentile as well. So how is Mark, or where is Mark likened him to in terms of our kind of players? So he's likened him to Joe Linton in the radar there, because Joe Linton's very much an all-action midfielder. I think Joe Linton drives forward a lot more than Jorginho does. Jorginho really sits back, breaks a play, and spreads the play, which I think could be a key asset for us in that midfield. So you can see there where Jorginho scores over Joe Linton is really just passing in the main. Joe Linton obviously scores in higher areas in terms of, I suppose, his counter-attacking and his running with the ball, his dribbling ability. But for this player, we're kind of split within the Evermore squad here. Some of us think he'd be a really good player. I think Dye's a big fan of the lad. He thinks he would certainly bring quality. There's no doubt about that. You don't get 45 caps for Italy if you're a bad player. His age is a bit of an issue, I suppose, because John Joe Shelby is looking, we're looking to potentially move him out at 30, and Jorginho's 31. So he's no spring chicken, but you could get him for a knockdown price because he's in the last 6 months of his own contract at Chelsea, I believe. So this will be one to watch. A good player, no doubt about that. I'm kind of torn a little bit myself. I'd rather have a younger model that's going to be around for a little bit longer. But I think with Jorginho, he could sit at the back of the midfield and anchor it and really help solidify when we get hit on the break, and maybe allow Bruno to free himself up to push 10, 15 yards further up the park. But it's an interesting one. Let's know what you guys think about the Jorginho links. I think a lot of the fan base will be split. So there is another player we're going to cover in this episode. It's a player we have covered before, so it's a little bit of an update. And it is this player here, which is, to be honest with you, out of the two, I'd prefer this player. It is Youri Tielemans of Leicester. Now, Youri Tielemans is 25 years old. So he's got a few years on Jorginho. 58 caps, 5 goals, 10 assists for Belgium. A smashing footballer. There's no question about that. Marcus put him next to Bruno in the radar chart there. Bruno scores obviously higher in a lot of key areas than Youri Tielemans does, but a bit of a different player. But if you look at what Youri Tielemans' biggest strengths are, shooting from range is something that we lack in the midfield. I know Miggy's started to do that recently as well and score lots of goals. Bruno's capable of it. But, Youri Tielemans doesn't need a sighter to have a shot from range. Passing, he's very good, and his key passing is really good as well. One of his weaknesses is concentration, which is something that Eddie Howe would have to work with him on. But you can see he's been at Leicester from 2019. He's racked up 177 appearances, 28 goals and 25 assists. Leicester have been off the boil this season. But Tielemans has been a smashing player over the years for Leicester. And again, like Jorginho, he's coming to the end of his contracts. I think he is free to talk to clubs. I believe it's in January, possibly to sign a pre-season deal next season or something like that. But Leicester won't get anywhere near the level of money for this lad as they probably should have done or could have done. So again, he will be a cheap option to sign in midfield. Would he be an improvement on Jonjo Shelvey in this current midfield? I think without a shadow of a doubt he would be. Would he be able to fit in Eddie Howe midfield? I think he certainly would be. I think he's got more energy. He's got a better engine. He's more mobile than Jonjo Shelvey. I think he could fit in and play really well alongside Bruno, alongside Joe Linton in a midfield 3. So I'd be really excited to sign this lad. You can see there in terms of his goals to game ratio. He started the season probably poorly for him, but he's picked up a bit. So he's got 3 goals and 16 Premier League appearances. So his goal to game ratio is in the 72 percentile. Now, he would normally be up, I think, in the 80s. Possibly even the 90s, the way he plays. So without that bad start to the season, he would be a hell of a lot, further up the scoring charts than he is. But you see his shot ratio there, he's in the 75 percentile. In terms of his key passes, 63 percentile. But again, a lot of these stats are badly affected by Leicester's poor start to the season. I think that Tielemans wanted to move on. The story was he'd even sold his house and he was living in temporary accommodation because he wanted to move to another club, and he thought that was going to happen in the summer. Leicester had a lot of money troubles. Obviously, we were linked to Maddison heavily. Tielemans was another name that was thrown up in the summer. Fofana went off to Chelsea. So Leicester were in some real trouble. And I think getting that 80 million quid in for Fofana really helped calm the waters a little bit with that, which is probably what settled them down from the iffy start. But yeah, I certainly think that Tielemans will be on the move. I'd be shocked if he doesn't move somewhere in January for a decent fee for Leicester. Similar to Maddison, they might hold on to Maddison till the summer potentially. So I think he's got slightly longer to run his contract than Tielemans has. But yeah, I think Leicester are in a position now where they can't really bargain too much for these top players. And, Tielemans has been a long-term contract for us, a long-standing target for us in terms of a player we want to look after and go for. I think he'd be a brilliant player for us, 25 years old, still got his better years ahead of him, and they could be in a black and white shirt. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Who would you prefer, Jorginho or Tielemans? Who would be a better fit into our midfield? Certainly as exciting times this transfer window coming. There's going to be loads of names linked. But I do think after this recent injury to Jonjo Shelvey and the talk of these couple of appearances till he gets that extension will definitely make us move for a midfield target. Even some of the most skeptical journalists have said that as well. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. So as I said, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We always love to hear from you. We always try to engage with you. And if you haven't already, smash that like and subscribe button. Come and join us Nevermore. All free content. We've got plenty of room for you. We'll be back soon talking about some more transfer targets. This is Chris signing off. Let's keep supporting that team of McCoy United, and I'll see you later. Cheers.